Okay, this is gonna be a very short video. Just gonna do some refactoring. Let's just see the file code first. So one thing that bothered me that I have to press the key every time I need to make the move. By move I mean the moving the ball. So I need to make sure that it always moves when you press a button, and it should be moving while I'm holding it, not that now what I'm doing is I'm pressing it every time. Let's just check one thing. Am I recording? Yes, I am. So that's good. um so let's just check that. um I know this is in the ball. So this is key press. So this is not the thing I'm gonna use. I've checked the documentation. The thing I need to use, it's called it's key down. It's key down. Is the speed alright? I think I've changed the ball speed. Let's check the constant for that. Yeah, because what's gonna happen is that I'm gonna use it to move. Previously what used to happen is that every time you press you will make the ball move, but now since I will be pressing it all the time, I need to make sure to lower down the speed. Actually, you know what, let's just see what happens. Yes, uh, okay, let's just go. Yeah, the working part is the one that I originally coded before I run the video. So I think I mentioned it a lot of time before. So now if I run this thing, if I take it to the screen, it moves, but it's too fast. I need to make it slow. That's why I want to use the constant. Let's just declare it. Why is that headphone there? I can't freaking see. Okay. So in the constant, I need to create a constant float. I think ball speed. I think originally called it ball speed as well. So save that. Use it on the ball source code. Do I need a constant? Let me see if it complains. So if I use ball speed here, does it complain? It does. So we need a constant. So let's just say constant h. I have the header. Let's do that. Ball speed. Do this thing as well. Ball speed. Alright, now let's just build this thing. You know what used to happen? I used to never use the mouse, but now I have to. It's because otherwise I can't move this freaking screen. Now if I do, this is much smoother. So if I run seek, I am seeking, right? So let's just do that. Just commit that git status, git add, git commit message fix button press. If I happen to fix button press of the ball. I guess this should be it. I misspelled. Okay. Alright, next thing I need to do, I need to refactor the kinematic code. So in the player, actually let me check one more thing. I think what I have done is that I think I have refactored the player states or something like that. Let me check. Is it? I will check later. Let me just fix the kinematic code. So right now what is happening is that I check the source of the player. You are using kinematic. Where is the kinematic code? This is the one. So it's inside player. Ideally you want it to be outside the player, because I don't know, in the future maybe this is the case that you need the kinematic for the ball as well, although I'm not sure I will, but nonetheless let's just make it, let's just refactor it so that the kinematic code is always in the same place, and otherwise I have to write kinematic for everything. Data, let's just create an update, and for update I think we need ellipse time. If I can type ellipse, I think it's called ellipse time, but is it called delta time? Wait, I actually don't need the time for the ball or any of that. What I need is the position. Do I need an extra variable? No. Let's just use constant vector 3. Yeah. Let's just use position, because what will happen is that I'm gonna update the position. Let's just check the kinematic source code. Kinematic source code. We don't have an update. We will. Let's just copy that. What kinematic? You know what? I actually did copy. I don't know why I'm typing. So this is the update code. So what I'm gonna do is put the player code there. Hopefully this is the one, because in the player code I do the kinematic update. Yeah, I do kinematic velocity, position. I think I will have to copy all this code. Let's just see. If it breaks, it breaks. I'm gonna fix it. Since we are inside kinematic, we don't need kinematic velocity. Fix that. We have the position. We update it with the velocity. We are not having the vector and working. Let's just add that Raylib. I guess it's Raylib math, math maybe. Math.h. Yeah, I can't spell Ray math maybe. Yeah. All right. So these are the acceleration. We are setting the acceleration to 0. Now what has happened? Why is it complaining? What? I mean, this is constant, so we can't change the constant. Let me actually check the original design. What I didn't make it constant in the original. What I did, take it as a reference. Okay, yeah, that's the thing. What I have to do is in the kinematic code. Let's just not make it constant, because it doesn't make any sense. Because we're gonna change this value. Let's go to the player. I think what will happen is, I don't think just kinematic update would do. Is it like that? if I check my original source, what I have done, yeah, I've just used that instead of all this freaking shit. What I'm gonna do is kinematic dot update, give it the freaking position. Let's just build and see if it's okay. Let's just put the yeah, I think it's okay. Let's just use another one. Let's just use yeah, seeking is this kinematic thing is working, so let's just add that. Refactoring, as you can see, I've done it before. Let me check one thing. I actually have forgotten what is the next thing. Can it be done in this video? Lock one line. Yeah, the next thing is to add the collision code. Let's get show me the lock. The ball has to change to game object as a collision object. Okay. This is the original source code that I'm seeing. I need to do some other refactoring as well. Let's just do that as well. Let's go to 3D recording, go to that. Let's just wait. So one thing I've seen is that I have made both ball and player a game object. On this, in this code, it is not. So what I'm gonna do is make a game object and inherit that. Let's just create a game object dot h file, if not def game object dot h. This is what I am thinking. I'm missing something. This is the one. So what a game object needs, basically everything the player and the ball has common. So did I create a constructor originally? Let me check. Let me freaking check. Where are you? Yeah, I have created a constructor. So yeah, let me. This is my constructor. This is my destructor. This is an int. I don't know if I think what will happen is that int will become a vector. There is something going on. Yeah, because I'm gonna make it a vector 3 the scale. So include Raylib.h. Man, I wanna have a position, I wanna have a scale as well. Instead vector 3 as a reference. Obviously I don't want to use that. What else? Yeah, basically all the thing that we use. Virtual model render. Obviously this is gonna be an abstract class, so obviously the function needs to override it. So let's have an update. Let's use float delta time, and don't use that. And we'll have a position and a scale. Let's play with this. did we did something with the source? Game object of cpp game object dot h game object এখানে the there will be an issue here is that CMake the issue is that let's first make the player work. So if I can type, so in the player in this position, this is what page. So because we don't need Raylib now because game object has it, so let's inherit game object. So player is a game object, so I'll have position and scale. Let's just call need this. Let's just call game object init. Now init needs a position. We have position, we don't have scale. We don't need scale for the time being, although I mean I think what has happened, so normally what happens is that you create a scale excuse me, to use as in collision and stuff, and also for render. But the thing is, for now we are actually just drawing the model, and we use the model scale, bit of hacking as well, to make sure it matches. What I'm going to do is use a different scale for collision. That will give a better. For now this is just a dummy scale, just a dummy scale. Let's just use that. I think okay, we are actually undefined reference to game update. Okay, we do have an update. Why is it saying undefined? Game object. Come on, why are you undefined? Okay, because we have not made it abstract. Okay, let's check if everything is working. Is the position being updated? There is a jitter when we start that video, but we have made the player a game object, so that's good. Let's just add that, commit that. Okay, there's that. there's that. Okay, I have the player now. Let's check the timer actually. Make the okay, make the ball game object. Do I need to let me check this as well. Let's just over I'm not gonna override this function. Let the scale be 1 for the time being. What I want to do, let's just use that to play. I don't need position, I don't need scale. Right. So what is happening? No identifier because I have made it capital. So in the position, just although let's just vector 3 I call it scale vec, maybe something like that. Let me check. Scale, yeah, the idea is, you want to be consistent and the scale should always be a vector 3. So for that I'm going to use scale vec and game object in it should be taken in position and the scale vec. So this will fix the error. Okay, why is it the render takes a vec is floating well? So let's put x there, run it. So if I why it's not me, it's the keyboard. Okay, I think the ball code will also work. Yeah, so basically what I'm doing is actually just refactoring the whole code. So this is what we did. Get at make all game object. So that's nice. The next update, it's it's a bit big. That's the tricky one. Let me just check. If I okay, there's an what I originally did was okay, check the player states. Okay, I'm not. This is probably you're not seeing this because it's off screen. Okay, let's just create this. Let's see how far we can go. um, let's create a new object and call it collision. One of the reason I created the game out in the first place is that if you include the game object, um, you could make it the source game object. I think although I don't take it in the constructor, let's just take it in initialization. um, so what problem I face is that if I use the direct position, sometimes what happens, the collision doesn't work as well because the center is often in the ground or maybe not in the middle of the model. So what happens is that sometimes the collision doesn't add up. So I use a different vector, or else I think even more clear is that I call it an offset. So you have a position that may be in 100, and let's say it's not the perfect one, so you add a little offset with it. So when you add an offset, it makes it center just for the collision. um, I think if I give an example, it will be more clearer. But before I do that, I need to. There's the thing about graphics code in this. There's need to a lot of shit that needs to be done before you can do these things. Now, what I'm checking is that can I render it? Um, yeah, I need to render it first because otherwise these things won't make sense. Let's have a different position. Um, and a different scale. So obviously I need position and scale because I'm going to use the collision system on Raylib, and Raylib collision system uses scale as a vector. That is why I made the scale of the ball a vector. So I need to include that. Okay. Okay. In the render, I'm gonna draw the position. Let me check how to do it. Okay, I'm gonna use the scale. I need another variable called color. By default, it should be green. Um, color. Yeah, by default, it is green. Color green. Okay, we have a render. So let's just add this collision object to player and the ball. Um, let's just not do that because the collision object has the game object. So let's just give it a point. Collision object. Yeah, I forget the spelling. Collision object. Let's do that. And initialization of the collision object. I need the game object. Let's just put the players in it. So this is the init function for the player. So in it, let's just say make collision object in it. For the timing, let's just give it this, which means okay, why are you okay, we need the header. Okay, we are having a segmentation error because there's no collision object to begin with. So this is the problem. See, the collision object is being rendered, but it doesn't actually match up because the position is actually on the leg, especially for the 3D model. So that is why you need to have a different position. Let's just do it for the ball as well. So we can have a clear picture. If we go to the ball and use the structure or collision object, use that here as well. There's an object m use that pointer. Collision object. Let's create this. Let's just include the collision object. Okay. Need this. Why are you complaining? Oh. And in the render, I can actually say m collision object render. So if I build that again, okay, we can't even see the ball. Actually, it has a box. Right? It's not updating because I have not called update. Let's just make the update. Yeah. Yeah, I think let's do that. Before doing the update, I think what I need to do is fix the pull offset problem first. Because that is the main thing we need to fix. We need to have the offset. We need to have the offset. Let's just fix the offset so that the rendering is actually right. So let me check what offset did I use for the player. So okay, let's just check this once again. So right now if you render the freaking player, the box doesn't match the model. So let's just match it. To do that, in the collision object, we'll have a vec3 offset vec. Is it offset vec? What did I call originally? Yeah, it's not an offset. It's offset position. And another thing we need is offset scale because we need to offset them both. We also need to push it. So in the game object source, we need a vector3, which of course is constant. This is offset both. Then we need another vector3. This is offset scale. 3 pulse offset scale. What I'm doing is actually we don't I don't think we add the collision. Wait. Okay, let's just I don't know if we need this. I mean this suppose this. Okay, we don't need to initialize that, to be honest. We don't need to initialize position, we don't need to initialize scale. I did it for rendering purpose. We do not need this because we're gonna actually, you know what, I don't think we even need a position variable, do we? Yeah, we do, because I'm gonna use it to draw. Yeah, we do. Wait. So in the position, what I'm gonna do is position is vector 3 at vector 3 at I have to use source position and offset position. So that is basically telling the position needs to be updated according to the new offset. So let's just use raymat.h. Excuse me. Same goes for the scale. Vector 3 at source.scale and offset. I need the scale because I'm going to use a collision detector later, and that is why we need it. Since we have the update, if we go in the player cpp, yeah, it's complaining because it needs two extra variable. One is vector 3. I have played with it, I know what gives the best result, so let me check. So what I've used is for the position I've used 0.0f, 1.0f, 0.0f. Yeah. Right. Okay. So this should give a good result. So it really depends on the state. I assume the update depends on the state. So player states.cpp. If we check the freaking updates, I know actually I don't need the collision update on the there's always a question. What did I do originally? Yeah, I'm not actually updating in idle. Let's just not do that. Let's just update on execution, seek state, run state. I don't care about the run state. On execution, this is the movement state player. Okay, update. We need to have a different function called update collision. I think it will make sense if we use that. Otherwise, actually, you know what? Let's because right now we have the offset. Okay, let's not render that. Let's just fix the ball code first, because the ball code needs to be fixed as well. So in the box scale, I need to add different parameters as well. So yeah, in the case of the ball, the position doesn't need, we're gonna update we're gonna add the update code later, but let's just see if the render code has been fixed. So this is the skill that works for the update one. Let's just use one and one in the comma. Yeah, so let's just render accordingly. Yeah, what has happened? It's not, we're not rendering for some reason. What is that, by the way? Wait, I think there's something wrong with the collision object render. Yeah, because the position doesn't get set initially. The idea is you're gonna set it in update. We are not calling update. Let's call it seems odd that we'll use, did it right the right way? If I check the player, yeah, we call the collision object update every time. So let's just do that. Wait, this is not right. It should not be outside the state. I guess for the ball it makes sense, but for the player it should be strictly inside update function. Although originally I have done it this way. I don't know why it is done that way though. It should be inside the state itself. I don't know why it's done this way. Yeah, let's just check the player states. You wanna have this here, player update something. We need to update the collision object. What I'm saying is that you need to update collision every time. Update collision, and it needs to take the full delta time. This doesn't have to match with the player. What will happen is that if you take the delta time, you can actually call the collision. in update collision and then let's just use the delta time. And now for every update, here states that collision, that's the code that's a bit different though. If I call collision, it takes still the time. In the seek state we need that, in the arrive state we freaking need that. And I don't think we need it in a idle state, but since we're gonna render, that is the thing that is causing the problem. With the collision state, we're not gonna render on. In the idle state render, what do? We just draw them on. I think it has to be inside the player. Okay, let's just do one thing. In the player render, yeah, I think what about the render? Why? Render extinguish is render. It doesn't actually draw. It doesn't actually draw the collision object, does it? Okay, if we call the render, it will call. That is a bad code. It's not dependent on the state. I don't want this though. Let's have a different code here. Let's have a sub-function called render collision object. Okay, I have render collision object. So this function is responsible for rendering the collision object. Render collision object was that use this. Now inside render, each state, the state that needs to render the collision should be using that. So in the idle state, I want to render the collision. In the update state, I want to update the collision. In the run state, I don't need it because I'm not using it. On the enter, we are updating collision. Do we want to render? Yes, we do. So I want to say render collision object. Okay, this is for the seek state. For the arrival, I want to use the render as well. Update collision. actually we have a low. I think what has happened is there has been some inconsistency. Uh, it will do look like. Let's see what has happened. Let's see if we are rendering the collision object. Oof, I am feeling the pain in my neck. Okay, we're rendering the ball for some reason. The player is not being. Okay, okay. Wait, why is it seeking by default? Uh, so, as you can see, we're actually rendering the collision object, so that's good. Okay, render at collision. Not the collision itself, but the render. Too much the match. Okay. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually make the collision happen. So so the way you do that in the player code, there is this thing with the ball. Okay, let's just write the collision function first. Let's think about the other things later. What has happened is client get found. We need to make sure for the collision we need to get the bounding box. The way Raylib collision works is that you match the min and max. Mean being the mean parameter of the box, max being the max parameter of the box. So we need to get that. So I'm gonna write a different function for that, which will return me the bounding box. Get bounding box constant. It doesn't change anything, but what it does get I need to vector 3. I need to get the minimum value. For that, vector 3 position x minus the scale makes sense, right? Because we're gonna go the center. We're gonna have the minimum position. So this is the center position minus the scale. So you wanna go to the upper left, scale -1 by half. 2 more value, scale for y and scale for z. Should do minimum. I need the maximum as well, so same thing but with the add. Come on. I don't think we can actually directly do that. Bounding box it's a vector that takes min and max. Right. Okay, we have the three values that we need. We need to make sure that we can actually check the collision. That function is actually easy since we have the bounding box. So what I want to do is actually I have named it. It's a Boolean function. Check collision. I'm actually using double L. I don't know if it's the right spelling. Check collision with this needs to be collision object as well. This needs to be other. I don't usually make pointer constant, so let's just put it behind this, below this. So what I'm gonna do is make sure I check that collision with collision object before current box current box is the bounding box. So in collision object get bounding box. Undeclared what the okay, wait. This is the bounding box, so I don't need a pointer. Bounding box, other box, other box, not box. Bounding box. So we have to. Now I need to do is just check collision boxes. Current box, other box. Okay, so this checks the collision. Now what I'm gonna do in the player, do I put the code here? I don't know if it's the right practice to do, but for now let's just do that. Let's just see what happens. By default is now because we don't expect it by default. So if player.cpp, so collision object other, if other is now pointer, return. We don't care, but if we do, if there is yeah like do I check in the poll? I don't think we should check in the poll. Full Escalite. This is Escalite. Escalite. M collision object. Check collision with other. If Escalite Escalite wait, do I need to flag? Did I originally use a flag? Because I think I need to use a flag. Yeah, we need to use Escalite. Need to check it every time. And the collision object. Code has significantly changed from my original code. This is not a easy is equal to false. Collide flag is equal to false. Now what I have to do is make sure I'm gonna do it in an update function. I don't know because I'm having two variable. Collide object collision object which do I use a function to activate this? Yeah, I need to I'm making it a function because apparently two things needs to change here: the color and the flag. Active, if it is active flag, flag is equal to true, and the color needs to be red, because if we collide one excuse me, So when you initialize, we wanna make sure it's deactivate. Wanna deactivate this. If you collide, you wanna activate this. Active. You wanna call it activate. Deactivate. So when this happens, when the player collides, player including object. Actually, we are inside active. Let's just return this. We are not colliding. No. We don't need it actually. Let's just see. What will happen is this will not update for the bomb, but I guess it's okay. I'm taking way much longer. Deactivate, you mean I did mean deactivate. Okay, when not, if we go to the player state in the seek, same goes for the seek as well. Okay. If we go there, play right. Okay, we are colliding. See the red is there. If we collide, let's change the state. We can actually stop, but let's just not stop because there needs to be another defector. But the point is, if we do a seek See, the tweet is becoming red. I really want to stop. I can make it idle, but we need to make sure that this is minimum enough. Actually, let me erase it. No, I think it will be better if I fix it later. I need to make sure the desired distance is less enough to, because otherwise if I stop just when it hits, it will just stop. I don't want to do that. I want to go to the center. Anyway, this is a lot of code. I need to make the commit. So okay, this is the last now. Okay, this is it. Thank you. Oh my god, it has been so. Okay, thank you anyway.